Today, we're talking about change. Now, there's often the saying that the only constant in life is change. And I think I want to add to that and say that yes, change is constant. How you change is your choice. Now, if you're trying to stay the same, then basically you're turning that choice over to someone else or some other ideas of how the change needs to be, how the change is going to happen. So the real choice when it comes to change is, are you going to change consciously or unconsciously? So that is what we're going to be dipping into on today's show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I do want to talk about some really cool updates and fun things that have been going on, some changes for me. I've gotten a chance to do a couple events. If you caught the last episode where we were talking about self-sustainability for global sustainability, I got a chance to give a talk on that topic live to a group of people in the Bay Area here a couple weeks ago. It was really great to get to speak to people and connect and share with them some ideas and ways of thinking about global sustainability that many people hadn't thought of before. And I think, it's one of these things, like really it is from the inside out is how our world kind of comes out, where we kind of look, oh, what can I do? And it's more about internally, then things just start to really shift, or the shifts make more sense and are more likely to happen outside of us. And at the worst case, you're at least enjoying your life while you're making whatever the changes to the outside world you were going to do anyway. So that was really cool. And the other thing was on the day after Thanksgiving, which is traditionally called Black Friday, which I wanted to become known as Light Friday, where we just do things that light us all up or create a lot of lightness and levity and joy and all these other great things that aren't about, oh, I got to try to save money or I got to try to get something or I need to consume or I need to get away from the people that I was forced to be around with the day before, whatever it is, like it should be a day of like joy. And this is great. To help contribute to that, I did an event over Zoom called the 4 Level Recharge, which was really, really incredible. In just 30 minutes, I took people through my life energy activation process. And what was really cool was we had some people that I've taught this to, long time ago, some more recently, then some other people they've never even heard of this, experienced this. They just were like, "Hey, I just want a little bit of a break on Black Friday from all the madness going on with, the holiday and all that other stuff." They didn't even know what they were going to experience, and so I took them through my life energy activation process, or LEAP, and they had such an amazing experience. They felt calm, they felt grounded, they felt at peace afterwards. So it was just really awesome to get to do that. And part of why I'm sharing this is because some of this has to do with being able to consciously change, because a lot of times we don't even necessarily know where it is we want to go, let alone how to get there. And part of this is figuring out where you want to go, because so often many of us are fixated on trying to just get away from where we are. But the more we're fixated on not being here, the focus still is here, and we get more here. And when you want to go there, you got to know where there is so you can start to get on the journey. Like today, I purchased the return ticket, the last part of like a really big trip that I'm planning next year. So we're going to be going to South America, going to be going to Europe as well. And so booked basically all the other flights and transportation parts. Hotels are booked and all this stuff. Still going to figure out what to do at each of these locations. It's part of the fun. And one of the things that I now trust and kind of let go a lot of is like, yeah, maybe there's some things I want to figure out before I show up, but a lot of things I can just decide and get into once I'm somewhere. I don't have to hyper plan everything. Like, trust me, if you would have seen the first big trip I took after I started working, it was ridiculous. The spreadsheet I had and all the plans and just about every minute of every day almost hyper planned. And now it's a lot less like that. And I feel like this is like a really good metaphor for life because I've been on many trips and maybe you've been on trips. And one of the things is often what gets us to go on the trip is one thing, and what we end up getting as a result of going on the trip is often so much more. Because it's, if it's a tropical trip, maybe it's just like, oh, I want some sunshine and I want some cool drinks and time in some nice water. Yet there's more. Part of it is you're getting that more relaxed culture, right? And maybe there's going to be some hiccups and things like that that don't go your way. And so learning to deal with that while still enjoying things, so there's ends up being all of these things that come along with the journey that gets you to where you want to be. But there's a little bit of like, where is it you want to be and what's going to make it worth you starting the trip, right? So we're not just talking about, going to South America or going to Europe. We're talking about what's going to let you become the person you really, really want to be, is the person that's having the relationships, the friendships that you really want to have, that's having the impact in the world, that's having the adventures, that's having the abundance, the comforts, the physical health. So there's, what is it that's going to get you to maybe take those steps and you don't even necessarily know what all you're going to get. And so it's important to note that, that I don't want to be here, which is like, okay, I want something to change, but again, it's a clue as to figuring out where you want to go. It's like, oh, I don't want to be here in Northern California the entire winter. That's my, oh, this is something I don't want. Yet there's no not here. That doesn't exist. I got to pick a place. And sometimes it's okay to just pick a place. Like I've recently been having some issues with my elbow where I've had a lot of pain in my elbow. And it's like, yeah, I don't want my elbow to hurt, but what is it I really want? And it's like, I have a lot of people to help me. I've got massage therapists, acupuncturists, network spinal chiropractic. And it's like, I'm having this and I want to like, work it out. And even went to a, medical doctor and they finally got a referral to a person called an osteopath, which is somebody I'd never gone to before. And it's like, this person told me a completely different way of thinking about how my body moves, relaxes, and eases with different movements and shifts and things like that. And it's like, oh, that's really what I was wanting, was a better understanding of how my body and my nervous system function so that I can be part of allowing the pain in my elbow to go away, right? So there can be these things that come up and it's like it's an invitation for you to consider what more you want out of your life. So that's part of what happens when you start to change consciously. Because when you're changing unconsciously, when you're just like, I just want thing to go away, then there's probably something deeper you want that you're not getting. And then you're just masking the don't want, right? Like it's like if you just take pain medication or you just stop doing movements that do that, like you're being more limited. You're changing, but not in a way that you truly desire. You're changing in ways that your external environment is causing you to change. And this is coming from unconscious beliefs, identities, energetics, things like that. And when you can start to make these unconscious, these unknowns known, and you can start to kind of go, oh, what is it I want? And again, it might not be something that you necessarily know before you're going to start the trip, start the journey. Like I was just willing to try something different when it came to my elbow. I didn't know that, whoa, I really just want this different relationship with my body and my nervous system and how my body moves, relaxes, and forms physical habits. It's like one of those things like I know way about mental habits, but I don't think I really have this deep and fundamental understanding of the physical habits that our body can have and how we allow and how our body allows ourselves to move and relax and tense and ease and those things. And it's one of those like on some level I knew I wanted that, but if somebody said like, "Hey, do you want this?" I would have been like, "I don't think so. I don't think I want that." Which is kind of like when I'm doing one of my offerings, it's like nobody nobody wants the life energy activation process. Nobody wants that, but that is the thing that's going to allow them to get what they want, which is feeling calm, feeling connected, feeling grounded, feeling a different sense of energetic connection to themselves and the surrounding environment and possibly beyond. And so there's a little bit of when you're trying to become conscious, becoming open to just trying some different things and seeing what maybe is this next step on this journey, on this travel into becoming someone who consciously creates and changes your world instead of being in the passenger seat, being passively changed by the world around you, which really is still it's you, but it's you and all of your beliefs, your energetics, your identity, your structures that got put on you when you weren't conscious, and they've been unconscious until you allow them to become conscious, and then you can change them. That I think is like a really cool thing, especially this time of year when it's about, oh, okay, maybe what do I want for some of these holidays where you can ask for something you want, or maybe you're going to give something, or there's like options of how to spend your time. And then there's the new year, and it's like, oh, what do I want to do? How do I want to be? How do I want to change? So it really is, it's an invitation to look at these parts of your life that are like, this isn't working. I want this different, but not focusing on just saying, I don't want this, but like, oh, what's something I could go towards? What's something I could bring in? And starting to allow that to go, oh, okay, well, what comes up for me when I say like I want to go on a trip for several months, or I want to move to a different place, right? Like, oh, what if yeah, what's that like if everything just worked and I had somebody great to, do the maintenance and they were on top of everything? Like what does that bring up? I might bring up some senses of belief about yourself, what you deserve, what it takes, and how big of a hassle that is or how easy that is. All these things. That's where the real journey is. That's where the real shift, the real change happens. And there's lots of ways to do this change. There's things I have in my book, Engineer to Love, Going Beyond Success to Fulfillment. There's the leap practice that I teach. That's very potent. It just takes 5 minutes to practice. I recently just taught it over Zoom in 30 minutes. So it's one of those things like if you missed it, definitely make sure you let me know that you want to do this again, or we can set up something one-on-one or get a small group because I'm starting to, look at booking out future things like that. 'Cause I'm really excited because people are just loving the amount of peace, clarity, connection they get. Yeah, and soon going to have some opportunities to teach some teams at some big companies. So love it if you're interested. Definitely let me go know because yeah, I want you to change the way you want to change, the way that is good for you, because I know you're gonna do good stuff for you, the people around you, and your world is, which is our world. And change doesn't have to be scary. Change doesn't have to be awful. Change can be simple. Change will require some effort. It will require going through some experiences. Yet part of the change can be changing all that to be a good thing. And if that's all you get out of it, isn't that what more could you want? Because then everything becomes possible when going through change becomes enjoyable and something that's fun and something that you're in the driver's seat on. Again, it's like just because you're in the driver's seat doesn't mean it's always smooth sailing, yet that's part of the fun, part of the adventure of going out, sailing, flying, whatever is like, oh, got to pay attention because something might happen. And really, that's the spice of life. So I think that's about all I got for this episode. I really do hope that you're enjoying the winding down of this year and the winding up of the rest of your life, whenever, wherever you're listening to this, because really now is the time to start the changes that you want to make and to start being curious about what it is you really want, how you want to get there, and figuring out who you might get to become and start in some ways being your own salesperson, your own marketer in the product of your life instead of being the passive product. Because again, that's so much of what we experience nowadays is where we're the product, right? With our attention being the commodity that is getting sold off to the highest bidder in social media and television and billboards and even like you go on a plane and they have the backseat entertainment thing and you're watching ads there. So instead of being passive and you're being used as the product, you are the CEO of your life and you are the product creator. You're selling your team on creating this product and the team is you. It's your thoughts, your internal family systems, it's your beliefs, your identity, and figuring out who needs to stay, who needs to do what, who needs to be improved. And that is what is going to allow it to be a really fun journey in creating the most amazing, most incredible life that is you and coming up with the energetic connections, the human connections, finding the skills and the techniques and changing the beliefs and shifting the identity, all that stuff. And all that stuff is like, oh, I don't know about all that stuff. It's great. That means that you got so much to enjoy learning and doing. There's so many great people out there with so many great ways and the key is to just be open. And it's so much more fun to do it with other people. And if you're like, oh, I think I want to like do some of the stuff with Justin, again, contact me, get my book, keep listening to the podcast, check out some former episodes, and then do be on the lookout for, my events and my offerings and things like that. Because I'd love for all of us to just have fun creating like amazing lives where it was just like, where do we want to go? What do we want to experience? Like, who do we want to be around? And it's about creating and collaborating and fun and amazingness. That's the world that I'm actively creating for myself and for anyone around me, and love to meet other people that would like to enjoy that. So with that, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and good day. Thanks for tuning in to Engineering Emotions and Energy with Justin Wenck, Ph.D. Today's episode resonated with you? Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback not only supports the show, but also helps others find us and start their journey of emotional and energetic mastery. You can also help by sharing this podcast with someone you think will love it just as much as you do. Together, we're engineering more amazing lives.